Hello everybody, I am Dr. Mrs. Mangal Dhend taking video lectures on high voltage testing. I hope that you have seen my first two parts of the video lectures and you have understood the basics of the high voltage testing and also what are the nomenclatures and specifications, see the testing, tests to be conducted on the different objects, and then what are the specifications of the testing, how tests on the bushings can be conducted. So I hope that you have attended my first two parts of the video lecture. Now let us see today third part of the video lectures. So in this we'll see dry or wet switching impulse withstand test on the bushing. So in the two tests you have now quite familiar with the different terminologies used in the testings, and then what are the specifications. So if any test you have to explain, you know how they can be described. So let us see how we can describe dry or switching impulse test. Now the bushing is subjected to 15 impulse positive polarity and 15 impulse of negative polarity. Means number of applications of waveforms are same as mentioned in the impulse testing. But what is the difference in the switching impulse testing? See the standard waveform of the switching surge you have to generate. So instead of 1 microsecond, here to 50 microseconds, and instead of 50 microsecond wavetale time, you have to use 2500 microseconds as a wavetale time. So switching surge are more dangerous or severe than the impulse voltage, because even if impulse voltage have huge magnitudes, time of duration for impulse are very less as compared to the switching surge. So energy transferred through any objects or insulating material will be quite high in the switching surges. So you have to take care of the protection of the switching surge more seriously than the impulse. So this is about the protection issue. Now in the testing, the bushing is considered to have passed the test if no puncture occurs at either polarity. Means you are applying 15 in positive, 15 negative. Means with 30 applications, no puncture, definitely no breakdown occurs. Puncture happen, then you have to accept the bushings. But here one additional concession is given in the switching impulse testing for the bushings. What is that additional flexibility or relaxation? One flashover at negative polarity is permitted. So in earlier only impulse testing, only two flashovers might be of positive polarity or two of negative polarity, or might be combination of positive and negative are permissible. But here two positive and one additional negative polarities are permitted. Means if three flashover occurs, then you can repeat the test. The temperature rise test in the bushing is considered to have passed the test if permissible temperature rise limit as specified in IS are met and if there is no visible evidence of damage. I am telling you again and again, the nomenclature used for testing is as specified in IS, because depending upon your insulating material or the applications of the bushings, every Indian standard specifications will be different, and there will be different tables depending upon the conditions. So you need to refer which type of bushings you are applying for which applications you are testing. So points remember to mention or describe any testing procedures will be significance of testing as we seen in the two earlier video lectures. Then significance of testing objects, objectives and necessity of test, diagram, circuit also you can create, IS number, procedure, specified value. So all these parameters you have to use in the descriptions. And if you are describing the test which are conducted in the laboratories, in addition to all these points, you can also describe equipments and specifications of the equipments, ratings, safety precautions, cleaning precautions, observations, calculation, conclusion and theoretical definitions. So remember all these points, because we have already seen memory map generations, portfolio, and you can use all these points for the testing portfolio creations or testing memory maps. So it will help you to retain the informations in a better way for the exams. Now let us see tests to be carried out on the insulator. So these are again dry flashover test, wet flashover test. So now you are familiar with all these flashover test and wet and dry withstand test. So in this, insulator is completely dry and clean state is taken, and then it is you have to install all these constructions in your lab, because suspended insulator has to test in the actual suspension position. Generally testing I have seen they are carried out in different positions, but your parameters will change. So you have to suspend it if you are testing suspension insulators. Power frequency source you will apply, and then this insulator you have to see for how many times it will withstand, or how many times it will flash or occurs. So power frequency source is applied, standard frequency 50. Generally it is applied for 60 seconds, and then voltage is increased because it is withstand test. So it will be repeated for 4-5 times, and then mean of flashover time, flashover voltages will be taken. So it will be specified in the Indian standard specifications what should be your flashover voltage depending upon the ratings of your insulators. Then in the wet flashover test you have to create artificial rain of different salinity, and angle also you have to maintain 45 degrees. Expose your insulator to the artificial rain and just carry out again the flashover frequency test as mentioned in the dry, but in these conditions wet. So if you will see wet air power frequency withstand test, again same IS is referred, and 1 minute an artificial rain you have to create, and then the wet power frequency withstand voltage of specified value you have to apply. 75% of the test value as mentioned in IS you will apply first, and then you will go on increasing the voltage gradually, not less than 5 seconds, because variation rate of change of voltage also differs the testing parameters. So you need to maintain this rate, and then it two flashovers of positive polarity and one negative, means as in the earlier test of transform Bushings dry type, the same condition of acceptance is mentioned. You can write down all your parameters which are observed. Then impulse withstand test, again the impulse generator is adjusted to produce a standard impulse waveform because it is impulse of 1.2 wavefront time and 50 microseconds at wavetable time. Peak value you have to generate of the specified value, which will be depending upon your insulator ratings. 5 impulse voltage waves are applied to the insulator, and if there is no flashover or puncture occurs, then you have to say that insulator has accepted the test. Now in during 5 times applications here of the impulses, if more than one flashover time occurs, then you can say it has failed or comply the standard. If only one insulator flashover occurs, then you have to again apply series of 10 impulse. Now not 5 times but 10 impulse waves you have to apply. And during 10 impulse there should not be flashover for a single time. Then only you can accept the test. And in temperature cycle test you have to just keep your insulators in the hot bath and the cold bath for 70-degree higher temperature for 15 minutes, and time of durations for the changeover we should also maintain, and then interchanging container in the cold water bath, whereas they shall remain for 15 minutes. So see 15 minutes in hot and 15 minutes in cold, and the cooling cycle should be performed 3 times in succession. And then time interval between the exchange should be 30 seconds, because if you will keep large time interval for shifting, then your specifications test results will change, and variation should not be less than this is called as tolerance for the changeover. And in the completion of the 3 cold cycles, the insulator to be examined, means after changing 3 cyclically, then you observe and there should not be crack. Then last test is power frequency puncture test. In this, insulators have been cleared and dried, means clean and dry insulator you have to take, and then you have to keep it in suitable tank with the insulating prevent surface discharge on that. And then the tank should be made up of metal type, because you are observing now punctual test, and it should be in means if you will see the tank of metal, the dimensions shall not be such that the shortest distance between dry part of the insulator and side of the tank, means clearances not less than 1.5 times of the diameter of the largest insulator shade. So you know the petticoats or the shades, and then clearances are given, dimensions are given. You have to observe all these, and then you have to keep our immersion insulator for at a room temperature. During immersion in insulating medium, precautions shall be taken to avoid air pockets under the shades of the insulator. And the test voltage shall be applied between 2 parts, which normally have operating voltage between them. Now which where you are applying the operating voltage to the insulator, same you have to apply, and there should not be puncture or shall occur below the specified puncture voltage. Now pollution testing, see You have to create the pollutions of different salinity, salty, sandy atmosphere as mentioned in the Indian standard specifications, and you have to carry out. So you have to create dust, dirt, smoke, gas, fumes, sand particles, deposition of salt layers, fog, ice, and then carry out the same test as it is mentioned in the wet test. So high air pressure is maintained by means of air compression. The power frequency voltage as per standard is applied for about 1 hour. No, not 1 minute. It is applied for 1 hour. The insulator should withstand the voltage without flashover. So flashover should not occur. Now you can do learning by doing exercise. You compare Bushings test and insulator test and remember all the points. So you can test different tests, create the points and compare the two testing. So these memory maps will help you to retain the test. Now books I have referred for this my video lecture is Indian standard. As already I told, I have referred the actual Indian standards. Pune branch contact number I have given, and then high voltage testing by Data and Kind. I like this book for the testing. And then Kamrojan Nadu, which is standard book for high voltage. In this cable and shearing bridge is nicely given. And of course I have used my own book, which is written by Chaudhary and Sheikh Sabah Sheikh also. So in this book you will find out all the descriptions of the testing in detailed way. So thank you. I would like to say you the thanks for attending.